live, my friend. We are live on the Metal Voice today. The one and only a friend I could call after all these,
You
I guess, a friend,
know
Mr.
that?
Lee. Go ahead, sorry.
You got that right, buddy. You've been a friend for a long time, and you're true blue for me. And I do thank you for your honesty. And yes, what can I do you with, my sir?
Good morning, sir. First of all, I want to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have been talking for about 8 months. And when we
Yeah.
spoke originally 8 months ago, you told me you had 8 months to live. Not you. The doctors said you had 8 months to live. And just give us a quick health update. I'm so happy that you're still around. You've beaten the odds for like 5 years now. So just give us a quick status update on your health. And because there's a lot of fans out there that want to know if you're okay.
Well, every day is still a struggle. I won't deny that because, as you say, the older I get, the more things are wrong with me. And my surprise was when I was feeling okay, feeling fine to a point. I thought, well, I've beaten them on my cancer. I've beaten them on my diabetes. I've beaten them on my double heart murmur. I've beaten them on the psoriatic arthritis and the diabetes. And the cancer's calmed down. I went, oh, well, that's pretty cool. Then I suddenly started feeling really, really ill, like my soul was being dragged through my head, the top of my brain. And I deteriorated. I went straight down within days. So I was in so much pain I couldn't move at the seat, couldn't do anything. And my wife said, right. So she phoned paramedics. The paramedics came and said, you're going in now. And I went, oh, here we go. In I went, and they let me in. Put me in the ward, the isolation ward, and they did test after test after test. I must have had, I'd say before they did anything, about 10 different tests.
Jeez.
And then they said, you've got a kidney problem. One of your kidneys is enlarged on the right-hand side. Oh, no, okay. Can that be sorted? Yes. We give you antibiotics. But in this case, because of your cancer and everything else going against, we're going to have to feed you in a cannula, and intravenously.
Mm-hmm.
And I must have had at least, I'd say 10 to 12 pints of solution with antibiotic in it. And I had that in every day to get it going. Then
Wow. Crazy.
I got back home, and I started feeling. I went, I feel all right, but I said, no, I don't feel all right. I'm kidding myself. I started to get the grumbles again, and then they put me back in the hospital. This time it was at Guy's, and they did extensive tests and X-rays, and they went, your kidneys are shot. You've got no excuse. There's no hole. There's no tubing in your kidneys. It's blocked with this calcium. And I went, oh, well, what does that mean? Well, it means, you're slowly dying, basically, because all your waste materials are spreading into your body. So we've got to put 2 stents in. And I understood what a stent was. A stent being a tube that they take out. It's like a Chinese puzzle tube thing. They put it in, and very thin. It's very thin. And you put it into the kidney and all the way into the bladder, and they pull out the little machinery, and it expands into the tube that fits tight into your bladder and your kidney. And that's what I've got, one either side, left and right. And that takes the waste, and it goes through into your bladder. The only trouble is now, because of these stents, and they've gone in, my bladder's weak, and my stomach muscles, like when you want to go to the toilet bad, and there's no
that urgent feeling, yeah.
And there's no toilet, you got to hold on, haven't you?
Yeah.
You got to wait,
yeah.
And it kind of hurts a bit, doesn't it?
Of course.
Well, if I do that, it's like someone's just cut my whole stomach wide open.
Jesus. So just to be
so
clear,
painful.
the stent is like a tube, right?
Yeah. Huh?
The stent is like a tube, right? So it's
but that's what they use. That's gone inside the tubes that were calcified, it's gone inside them, and they've expanded them out so that I can literally, my waste material goes through properly. And they're working fine. They are working fine. But it's the other parts of my body. If I want to go to the toilet and I don't get it right, it's literally agonizing to the point I scream and cry my eyes out. And scream.
So to be clear, you have to have these tubes or this stents from your kidney for the rest of your life. Is that what the doctors say?
Yeah, to survive. I've got to have, every 6 months they take them out and put a new one, apparently. And I've got to have my new ones put in November. And they should see me through till November, December, January, February, March. No, I won't even see about February, March, about March. But the problem is, they don't guarantee then. They don't know if I can be able to have another stent put in. So then that's when it's serious then.
And I mean, once you don't have something like the stents in your body, then of course the body, I don't want to get gross here, but you can't get rid of the waste. And if you can't get rid of the waste, it just poisons the body. Is that correct?
And then I'm a dim, and it kills me.
Okay. You know what? Okay, let's switch this negative into a positive. Yep. I want to give you some love here. A lot of people are sort of joining in.
I'm as positive.
Oh, I know that. I know that. And I don't mean it that way. I mean it as I want to. A lot of people out there want to just say they're, tell you hi, right? Tom is saying, Tom is saying, what is that? Thank you, Lee. You are one hell of a nice guy. We love you, Lee. You won't find a bigger fan than me. Go way back following him. And Tom is a drum enthusiast, and he's a drummer, so he really appreciates your drumming. And K-Man is saying, does he have songs or is he particularly proud of? We could talk about that after. Kenny is saying, amazing work. And this is why we're live, because I wanted everybody to join in and say hi to you and give you a little bit of love and a little, sort of like a positive super vibes to make you feel better and to Well,
you should say that I had the most wonderful honor to see Kiss.
Okay, let's talk about Kiss. Okay, we're going to talk about Sharon Osbourne. We talked about your health. Let's talk about Kiss and your documentary. Tell me about a few days ago, or I think it was 2 days ago, you meeting Kiss and them participating in your upcoming documentary. Go ahead.
Before that, I went with Kiss. I saw them, and we asked them through the director-producer, Taylor Goodman, it's her film company, and she got in touch with their manager, Steve Goff, and he knows me very, very well. And he said, I just spoke to Paul and Gene about would they do, an interview with Lee. And they just turned around and said, without question, anything Lee wants, he gets. He's a lovely guy, and he's a legend. We honor him because he's a legend compared to us. And that's what Paul said. You are a legend in your town forever. And I went, that's a lovely thing to say. That really perked me up. And so we had a chat. We had a long chat about the good old days for when we played in Madison Square Gardens, and me and Paul and Pete Christian and Christopher, we went to Little Italy to a place called Mama's Place where Paul took me for a meal. And we had a fabulous time. We did get I did get blind stinking drunk on wine, but it was fun. And it was great to be honored like a few days ago when we did the interview in the Soho Hotel, I might add, an $8,000 a night hotel. Oh wow! Yeah, really, it is some hotel, and they couldn't do enough for us. All the Kiss guys and the crew, and all their tour manager. It was wonderful, and I said, well, do you reckon there's any chance of us coming to see you on the Thursday? And they went, you kidding? We thought you weren't interested. Oh, then they said, we are absolutely honored that you want to come to see the show when we're going to give you a carte blanche. And they gave me everything. They looked after me like royalty. I had the AAA All Areas laminate in beautiful gold, red and gold. I had a gold bracelet to take films, photos with them. And admittedly, I was in my wheelchair, but it was in the O2, completely sold out. And they put us up on the terrace, looking right down at them. Wow, fabulous. And we watched the show. My God, the pyrotechnics left me slightly deaf. My head was ringing, but they were loud. And we came out from the show, and I just wanted to say goodbye before I went, because I didn't think I'd see them ever again. I don't know. And Tommy came out, the guitarist, and said, and so did Eric, the drummer. And I've known the drummer for years.
Yes.
Oh, years and years and years. And
I'm showing a picture, by the way, of you with Kiss now, right now. As we're talking, I'm looking at the picture with you and Kiss. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
Well, that was done. It was like Gene said, "Come on, old man." And I stood up. I said, "I'm not sitting in their wheelchair. I've got to keep my pride." And they were so chuffed with me. They all kept holding me up. And it was such an honor for me. Excuse me, I'm just having a cuppa.
No problems. Take your time there. Take your time.
Yeah, I mean...
All good.
Can be thought of. And as I said after the show, and Tommy came still dressed, and I said, I praised him and thanked him, and I said, "Is there any chance of saying goodbye to the guys before I go?" He said, "Oh, absolutely." He went back, and then Eric came, Eric Singer from the drummer. He came out first. Then he went and got Paul Stanley. He came out. G was ill. He was feeling ill because he really puts his heart and soul into that show. And anyway, I said goodbye to him, and Paul said to me, looked right in my eyes, gave me a hug, and said, "I'm going to see you again. There's no question." And I felt really good about that. That really, really made me feel good. And that's the way it parted.
I love it.
Oh, wonderful.
I love it. Positive vibes. It so helps. It just, and I know you're all about that, positive vibes, just keeps you going. You always told me that. It keeps you going, all these positive vibes.
Yeah, people that respect you. And this is my whole, can we talk about my documentary now?
Yeah, go ahead. Talk about your documentary. Go ahead. Yeah, for sure.
My documentary is based on me, as you will know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about my belief in music that's kept me going through all my illnesses, my cancer. 5 years I've been going and carrying on, hanging in there. Through music and camaraderie. And I've always said, all my friends that I can nail and name, rather, will be there for me. And it first started off, I got in touch with Joe Elliott from Def Leppard. And Joe went, "Hey up, lad, absolutely, no problem." And we're meeting Ireland. We flew over to Ireland, and we managed to go into the Guinness factory. They allowed us to go there to Guinness Hall of Fame, and I did an interview with Joe.
Good old Joe Elliott, a big fan of Uriah Heep. I know that.
And he's an absolute friend. We go back where he phoned me up one time and asked me to buy my house in Lanzarote, or look out for a house for him in Lanzarote, which I did. And, that's a friendship. That's what it's all about. We never ignored. I'm not ignored. I'm liked. And I enjoy that fact that I must have got it right all the way through my career. Because my old man used to say, be nice to the people on the way up, because you never know who you're going to need on the way down.
And on the way down, they'll kick you hard if you're not nice to them on the way up. That's what I always learned.
You're right. Exactly.
They will kick you hard on the way down if you're not nice to people on the way up. I digress. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so anyway, so we started with them. We started with Joe. And then we went and I got in touch with Ian Pace, the drummer from Deep Purple, another great friend of mine. From I'm talking 50 years ago. Friendship.
Yep.
And I don't see him very often. But I said, could we have a chat? And he said, yeah, come on now. So he gave us the address to his house, and we went to his house and sat in his studio where he records and plays bits. And we had a good old chat, and then we had a drumming session between us. And it was lovely. It's just like, total respect for each other, of course.
Yep,
That's my point. Camaraderie. I've got Kiss, we're only too glad to join in the documentary, which they're on, and the camaraderie. Then I got Nico McBrain from Iron Maiden. I'm yet got to chat with him.
Okay, have you actually gotten Nico yet in the documentary? Do you have the chat yet?
Nico's ready to do it. I'm just going to catch him.
Okay.
He's already agreed to me. He said,
let's break it down. So the name of the documentary is called?
Well, we don't know. At the moment, it's Not on the Heep is the name of it at the moment. But I don't know if that's the right one or
Not
maybe
in the
it is
Heap.
the right
Not
one.
in the Heap, right? Correct? Not in the Heap?
Not on the Heap.
Okay.
In other words, I'm not left on the heap. I'm still going.
What about the Lee Kerslake story? I kind of like that. Tossing it around. Or maybe the metal voice, Lee Kerslake. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. Okay, anyways. Just kidding around.
Because when that's finished, I finished my solo album. And I've written an album and 8 tracks on a CD.
Of course.
And I've been writing it since my chemo, it's what we call miscellaneous.
But hold on, Lee. Let's go to your album next, but let's just finish up on the documentary. So,
the point I was going is, again, the documentary has proved more than anything to me, and it will prove to people, camaraderie in the music game with the old boys like myself and Gene and Paul and Joe and Ian and Pace, that we're all of the same ilk.
So Ian Pace, confirmed interviews right now. Joe Elliott, Ian Pace, Kiss, Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, or all of them. I think all of them are in it, right?
Eric Singer, and Singer.
And Eric Singer.
And Tommy, the guitarist.
And Tommy Thayer. Is there anybody else who I left out? Like Ian, who else did we forget?
No, that was it. That's the 4 and the 4 of the boys.
Okay. No. I mean, in the documentary.
Absolutely, it's the documentary is I'm waiting to do, as I say, Nico McBrain. It's just track him down.
Okay. But is there anybody else who you'd like to have on?
Another friend, huh?
Is there anybody else you'd like to have in the documentary that you're sort of?
One of my favorites is another friend, but I've sent a letter to him. I've not received an answer yet, but I'm hoping. It's Dave Gilmour from Pink Floyd. Because he was, again, a friend of myself and Mickey, to the point where we had a day off in Hamburg. We playing the gig the next day, so we had a day off. And Pink Floyd with their world tour. So we could see them,
So Nick Mason, right? Nick Mason?
No, Dave Gilmour.
Oh, David Gilmour. Oh, sorry. I thought, okay. Wow, yeah. David Gilmour, legend, of course. Even Nick Mason, legend. I mean.
Yeah, but the point is, he said to the crew, other people, yep, give them what they want, get them VIPs, whatever they want. So we got all these VIP parties, and we came through. I mean, the security, Jesus, unbelievable. But we got through, and there he was. They just sat outside in his herringbone jacket going, Lee, dear boy, how are you? Mickey. Do you want something to eat? We got 5 restaurants here. And, it's just so funny. It was so natural, so blatantly natural.
Yeah.
Just, where they were.
So I'm not going to... Okay, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off, but what do you see in terms of a timeline when this will be finished, this documentary? How much of it have you finished?
We're 3/4 of the way through. I'm just going to go down to Bournemouth, my hometown, and show where I first started, where I got my career started in Bournemouth Pavilion when a talent scout spotted me, and then he just asked me to join the Gods, and and it goes on from there. But that's that's the last piece, and she's got a ton of editing to do. We've done so much footage,
And you need funding at all times, right, for this documentary. So if you want funding, I believe on Facebook, you can donate. If you want to help out, you want to support the documentary. I believe if anybody wants to do that, just go on the Lee Kerslake. Was it fun pay? Lee Kerslake. I can't remember what the name of the group was on Facebook. Let me just see here. Anybody who wants to donate funds, hold on. Let me just check. Lee Kerslake.
Rock and Roll Party?
Rock Party, that's right. Lee Kerslake Rock Party on Facebook.
Yeah.
If you want to donate to help complete the documentary. I want to make sure everybody knows that. That's why Lee.
Yeah, that will
if I'm
really
cutting you off, it's for good reasons, okay?
Well said, Jerry, because that is important. I got carried away, and it is important. We are struggling to find the finances. We've done so well up to now. People have sent, $500 there, $1,000 there, $500, and it's really helped us to get a lot of it done, So the next thing is we're going to do, to be able to finish it off, we're going to go down to Bournemouth, from where I was born to where my first house was, and all that sort of shit. So I'm that's going to take precedent in about another 3 weeks, I think.
And so
that should be interesting.
And just so everybody knows, it's a Taylor Goodman. Again, you've mentioned this, but Taylor Goodman is producing this, correct? She's the one putting this all together, and it's
called London Bridge Films.
London Bridge Films. So these are all the point of contacts. If you want to donate, you want to help, you have any contacts to help Nico get on the documentary, support, or just even a thumbs up, just a support or sharing. For other people to donate, if you want to do all that stuff,
Yeah, it is what it is. It's anybody that can help. It's a big thank you from us, and that's the point. To finish it, I think it's important for me as to be able to turn around and say I've done the documentary, right? That's that done, and I've finished the album. Now the album took a long time to do, nearly 3.5 years, because going in and out of chemo, I had to, on the third day of my having chemo, I had to inject myself, which I hate needles. Well, I did. I did hate needles. I've gone past that now. Every day, every Friday, after being in on the Wednesday with the chemo, I had to inject myself with this positive zero corpuscles.
Yes.
White corpuscles. So it was all so heavy duty at that time for me.
Yep. So Lee, I'm just the reason why I'm pausing you is because I want to make sure we get some points out there. Okay. So
yeah, please.
Okay. Again, the documentary, it's in the works, 3/4 done. I'm loving it. I'm seeing so far, I'm getting a lot of feedback. I know the Hall of Heavy Metal History, that your induction, your time there is in it. I know, the great interviews that you're doing with all the band members. That's amazing.
The Randy Rhodes plaque I got.
Yes,
award.
And the Randy Rhodes Remembered concert where you were given some sort of award there. That's in it.
Yep.
We're going to talk in a minute. We're going to talk about the Sharon Osbourne and her current comments in regards to Bob Daisley. And actually what I want to do before that is I just want to look at everybody's comments. So there's a lot of love, people texting stuff. And I want to make sure that you hear these messages and make sure that these guys get to talk to you this way at least, right? So give me a minute here. Nobody is saying, and these are names of the people who are logged in. So they all have alias names. It's not necessarily their real names. Just heads up. I know some of these are funny sounding names. They're not real names, but they're just aliases, right? Or YouTube names. So we have Kenny, amazing work with the Uriah Heep. We have Klaus, we love you, Lee. Nobody saying, we hope you're feeling better, Lee. K-Man saying, legend, cool to hear your stories. Jimmy Savage says, I think, well, he's kind of talking about Kiss, but he wishes you well. Tom, love Heep, always have. Kenny, when is the Kenny's saying, when is the documentary coming out? I think we addressed that just recently. Klaus is saying, thanks, Jimmy, for doing this. Keep going down the line. Kenny's saying, lots of Ozzy fans here at 3 Times Square. My boss is letting the crew watch this. Hello from New York. So a whole bunch of people are watching from New York, okay?
Oh, that's nice. That's cool. Hello, everybody. I hope you're hearing loud and clear.
Michael Stephan is giving you his best regards. And I'll stop there for now, and I'll add some more comments as we continue, okay? And the reason why I do this is I want to give people and the fans that love you so much a chance to have their voice and talk to you, right? In this way, at least. I'm your conduit. I'm your conduit here. Okay.
Yeah, Jimmy, you're doing great so far. I mean, wow. You know, there's a lot. That's fabulous. I thank all the people that know me and still remember me, and all the comments that they made are wonderful. And I take them all on board because it does give me strength to continue and to carry on. Believe me.
And one last question before we talk about Sharon Osbourne. How long is the doctor giving you now, since you've already passed 6 years since we started this?
It is the question that it ain't the same doctor for one.
Well, there you
and
go.
the thing is, they've only just said to me basically that they only just put 2 stents in. I've had one put in, and then I get another one because they once they start to wear down, in the kidneys it's important you get all your waste material flushed through into your bladder. So they've got to replace them within 6 months. And after 6 months, you get a new one in. But after that, we don't know, because I'll have had 2 put in. I have to find out what the truth is. They seem to, the way they talk, it's like no one's ever put 3 in. Like they haven't met me yet.
Yeah, there you go. Well, exactly. So we'll see what happens. You're doing just fine, my friend. You're doing fine. And every time I call you, you're still there. And I'm so happy that you're still kicking around and you are doing fine. And all the positive vibes.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I was in just earlier yesterday, and I don't feel brilliant, but I feel good enough. I get on the keyboard and play a little bit, and I'll try and write another song. And it's all positive and busy.
Good,
the album's finished. It's called 11
Yes,
by the way.
We talked about this last time. Yes.
The reason that story is, when I was a kid at school, I used to think, in my own insanity, that there was a number called 11. And if you think about it, rolls off the tongue. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 11, 20. And it rolls off the tongue.
Yes.
So I thought, hell with it. I'm going to put that as my album name, 11. And, people kind of find out I'm a bit of a fruitcake on that, and other people kind of like it. So I can't please everybody, but I know one thing, they'll like the album because it's, as I say, miscellaneous. I've got a pub song on there. You remember that song, You Got a Friend, by Carole King, was it?
Yes, of course.
You Got a Friend? I've done that with a friend of mine, sang with her, and that's come out really well. And, again, I've done my other tracks. I'm impressed. I'm well happy with it. And I've got a great engineer, and my friend, of course. There's only 2 of us have done all the tracks I'm on that. I played the drums and the keyboards and the strings and the vocals, and my friend Jake Liberato has done all the guitar work, the ukulele work, and the bass guitar work. So we've achieved a lot between 2 people and an engineer.
When are you expecting it to come out?
Well, we're trying to get the timing right, and the way my manager Steve Weltman is my manager and my friend, he's just said no. We're going to do the documentary and we'll do the album exactly the same time. We'll release them back to back because it'll get recognition a lot quicker and we'll get you hopefully a lot of TV. I said, okay, you go with it. I've done the stuff, recorded it with my mate Jake. We've done it. Now it's down to you. I have no idea how to promote it. All I'll do is just, you send me wherever you want, and I'll do it. So we don't really know, but we think the new year, just later in the new year, maybe after everybody's got some money back from Christmas shopping, they might be about.
I got a question. Jimmy Savage once asked, is Max Norman the engineer?
Yeah. Max.
Okay.
He's not. He didn't do it. The engineering. The engineering was done by a guy called Ollie, and he's from Algeria.
Okay, so it's not Max. Okay.
And he's not really known. He's just got his own studio called Ocean Tide Studios in down the bottom of my road. So it's nice and convenient to get in there. It's not a big studio, but it's enough. I have to play the drums on keyboards or a drum machine, but and then I've got a friend I borrow his bass drum so he can get a real sounding bass drum on it, So it's all bizarre stuff the way it's been worked, but at the end of the day, the product is fabulous.
All right.
I am so proud of it. Even the song I wrote, an instrumental for remember Albatross by Fleetwood Mac? Do you remember that song,
yes,
Albatross?
I do. Yep.
Yeah, well, I've done a song called Mum, and everybody's got a mama. And it's a way of, you listen to this, it's a way of saying thank you to your mum. I did it, say thanks for my mum, for me, bringing me up and making me who I am today. And that's a big thank you. And I couldn't thank her enough. So I want people to realize that's what it's about, the total mum, and it's appreciating your mother.
That's cool. That's sweet.
That's important.
All right, so let's get to this. Sharon Osbourne, her recent comments aimed at Bob Daisley, but in a way aimed at you too. The big headline on Blabbermouth, as well as Celebrity Access Encore, that's where the feed came from. She said in a headline on Blabbermouth, Sharon Osbourne says, Bob Daisley is a sad old F who can't get over the fact that he was fired from Ozzy's band. The biggest controversial part of this is they asked her if Ozzy Osbourne was actually a solo artist at the beginning, or was it actually a band? According to Sharon, asked if Ozzy's post-Black Sabbath album was initially intended to be a band project, she replied, never, never, never. The bass player Bob Daisley has said that over the years, he's a sad old F that played on two of the greatest albums in rock, and he can't get over the fact that he didn't use him further, but they did. Like it was, goodbye, see ya, and he's never gotten over it. After several lawsuits later, he tried to sue us 3 times, each time thrown out of the court. It was never a band. There's no way it was Ozzy Osbourne. So what she's saying, to summarize, is the first 2 albums were not intended to be a band in her mind, but were actually solo albums. And that's why I have you online here, not only to talk about all the great stuff you did, but to sort of clarify, was it a band, and why was it a band in your mind?
First of all, Sharon wasn't our manager for the beginning of it. Don's son, David Arden, was our manager for time, and he said, what are we going to call the band? And we said, listen, Bob Daisley came out with a name called Blizzard of Oz. Ozzy Osbourne's Blizzard of Oz. So they went with that. The whole team of the office said, yep, okay, that's what it's called then. And that was before Sharon took over. And she said, she may have said it, I'm not going to, I can't argue with it. She did say it, but I've got the recollection that we spent quite a bit of time naming the band. I wouldn't have joined Ozzy because I wasn't out of work. I was doing my own solo venture in Shepperton Studios, and I got a guy called Ozzy Hoppy who worked for Don saying, you got to join this band. They were looking for a drummer to be really, of consequence and power, and you need to join. So I said, all right, well, I'll audition them as they auditioned me, which I did. We went to Shepard's M Studios in Shepperton, set up the equipment. I saw Randy. I'd never seen him before, didn't know who he was. And I knew Bob Daisley. Ozzy came in, sat down in his brown fur fox, and I turned around and I said, okay, they said, what do you want to play? And we played I Don't Know first. And as we started doing it, Randy just jumped up and went, we got ourselves a friggin' drummer. And he came over to me, jumping up and down, hugging me, and Bob was smiling. And then Ozzy said, Rosie, we got to choose a band. And I went, yep, all right, if we're a band, and then I'm in. And Ozzy turned around and said, here's me hand, here's me heart, this band will never part. And I went, that's cool. That's all I needed. You're from the singer, his words, we're a band. And that's when we started working and going in the studio.
Pause. And were they? And here's the interesting part. There were contracts that they said to you, don't worry, we'll take care of the contracts later. And they kept postponing the contracts, correct?
We postponed it. We told them to shove it because Don brought the agent, his lawyers, and he brought in a contract. It was yellow pages. It was that big. And I went, no. I said, no way. I'm not even interested. We'll go ahead and do this because, as far as I'm concerned, in any court of law, once you record something, it's your contract. And then apparently it's true. You are, that contract is you. You know what I mean? It is as good as having a contract in paper as you being doing
verbal agreements are contractual as well, right? I mean, you can argue verbal agreements are contracts between parties, and in many cases in court you can win based on verbal agreements. What was said,
and we were the majority. Me, Bob, and Randy.
Yeah.
And we did all the work. When we were in the studio, when Ozzy sings, you identify his voice. But when in those days he was very difficult to control, and many of the time I was doing vocal ideas, so because he wasn't there still. But we never ever queried that. That was part of the business, Your singer can throw wobblers. David Byrne, he used to throw wobblers. I was used to it, so it didn't worry me. But as long as he said those words, that it was a band, I was loyal to it. And so is Bob.
And why we... And again, just to emphasize, the only reason, and you told me this before, the only reason you joined Ozzy is because you said, if it's a band, then I'm joining. If it's not a band, I'm not joining this.
Exactly. I just left. I just told the management of Uriah Heep to stick the band up his arse. He talked out of it long enough. Yeah. And that's the very words I said to Jerry Brown, and he went berserk. And he threw me out. And I said, you don't have to throw me out. I've quit. I've had enough of you and the politics. There was so many politics. Towards the end, so much in politics that I couldn't handle it. And I didn't want it. And I said, I've been loyal with question to now. And I said to Mickey, I'm out. And that was it. I left. And then I went down to Shepperton Studios to start doing my own solo album, which I did 4 tracks. And I had Pete Cox, who was, remember Go West?
Yes.
Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Pete Cox, the singer, then didn't have Go West, so he was singing for me on my band, which was wonderful. And I had Colin Patterson, who was Manfred Mann's bass player then, on bass. So, and I used Colin's studio. So I was really, no problem, getting myself together when a German promoter called Ozzy Hoppy phoned me up and said, oh, my God, I never realized that you were not with Uriah Heep. I've got a project, and we're doing an Ozzy Osbourne And I said, yeah, well, what do you want? We'd love you to join. You're the perfect drummer. You're fit. You know, you're power, and you're singing everything. You'd be great for the band. I said, okay. I said, I'll join, but what I'll do, I'll audition what members of the band you have, and they'll audition me. So to make sure that if they're happy, they'll know. So it's agreed. So I went down to M Studios in Shepperton, set up a kit. They got them guitars and everything, set it all up, and we did I Don't Know. And then they started playing it. Randy just went,
yes,
we got ourselves a freaking drama. And that was it. We were so close. Jimmy, the magic we had, me, Bob, and Randy, I would in the recording studios at Ridge Farm. It was a big kind of chapel church where we were playing, playing.
Yes.
And I would be on the piano. It was a Yamaha Grand. And I'd play an idea. And Randy went, I love that. Oh, God. And he'd go and take it and explode it. And Bob would come in and write the words, bang. And I went, we'd just written a song in about 8 minutes. And it was unbelievable. Sato, So we wrote quite a few marvelous songs in that time.
When you went, when you sort of recorded the first Blizzard of Oz album, then you went on a UK tour. What were you billed as on that tour? Was it Ozzy Osbourne?
Ozzy Osbourne's Blizzard of Oz.
So it was always Ozzy Osbourne's Blizzard of Oz. It was never just Blizzard of Oz, or it was never Ozzy Osbourne. It was always Ozzy Osbourne's Blizzard of Oz, correct?
Sure it was, yeah. They said, right, and as soon as they finished that tour, Don Arden realised that the album, the first one, Blizzard, was starting to take off in America. So they said, right, you've got to record another one, because we're going to go to America for at least 6 months. So, oh, shit. Blimey. And we went in and we wrote another album. Yeah. Amazingly, we wrote another album, Diary of a Madman. And we all...
And tell me what Ozzy said to you when he first heard Diary of a Madman. What did he tell you?
He said, what do you want me to sing? And we were getting him to sing the vocals. He said, who the fuck do you think I am? Stanley Clark. Okay, Stanley Clark is a very technical jazz bass player with Weather Report. And he's saying, from bloody Stanley Clark, I'm not singing that. But he did in the end. He came round because we were showing him exactly how it was done, how important each track was, and each individual vocal melody and the words. Because Bob wrote the words, I was helping with the vocal melodies, and I always did, and always, even with the Heep, I did a lot of work in melodies and vocals and guitar solos. Again, were one of my specialties, which I did a few with Randy. So, the thing was, we had the camaraderie there, and even Ozzy was there in it, almost to the point of being a comrade. He wasn't sure, but he, what can I say? We were there to a point where he invited me up to his place, and I stayed up at his house, and we went on a shoot the next day, and then we went to the pub after that, and it was like, friends and what you do if you are friends.
What do you remember? Just let's touch on a couple of songs which we didn't do last time when we spoke. What do you remember about recording the song Revelation, Mother Earth, which is a beautiful song?
Oh, at the moment, I don't have a memory of any of it because the treatment I'm on, these tablets I've got to take, it's such a heavy-duty painkiller that withheld to help with the stents and the kidneys. So my brain is out there, and all I can remember is the Diary of a Madman when we did, and I came up with the idea. We got to do a load of drums as if we're out in the hills.
Over the mountain.
And the guitar playing over it. And that was a fantastic feeling when they did all those vocals. They got a choir in to do all the vocals on it. La 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 bum, bum. You know, it was just mind-boggling.
Here's a fan that says, Jimmy says, I hear Randy was upset about how rushed Diary of a Madman was. He didn't get enough time to work on the music. Is that true?
No, ish and no, yay and nay. We always complained that we didn't have enough time, but at the end of the day, we looked at them, we listened to them back, and I went, cracking, brilliant. And Randy was playing at the top of his league. He may have in his own head been unhappy, but he would be because he's such a, he was such a, meticulously, such a one of those people. It had to be bang on, absolutely perfection. But we just said it's the imperfections that make some of the songs work, and it does. You know, and people don't realise the way we think, but that's true. Imperfections in songs work. You know, and that's when the issue is. We did some things that weren't truly spot on, but my God, the track was mind-boggling.
Do you remember? You know? Do you remember the making of the song "Tonight" off Diary of a Madman? Do you remember that one?
Yeah, tonight, there's a memory, or am I right?
Exactly.
Yes,
do you remember being in the studio recording that one? Was there any like moments there?
No, it just was the fact that when we worked out the vocals, me and Bob, when the guitars were in, and we would go, you know, we just worked out vocal melodies. And I'll stand on 103 again, you know. And I went, oh, that's tonight. Anyway, the thing is, I just remember bits and pieces. As I say, the chemistry, I've got the tablets. They really screw up my head and make you kind of senile dementia without the senile.
Don't worry. But we could tap into some new memories also, right?
I keep getting them back.
That's right.
You know, to the point, I digress a bit, but it's good to tell you this. I was sat there with Paul. Paul came in, and we gave a big hug as if we hadn't been away 45 years was the last time I saw him. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They gave me a hug, Gene did, and Paul, and then Eric, the drummer. It was all positive. And we sat there, and I said, do you remember the time when we were headlining, and we were headlining, and the kids were supporting us. And I said, it was in Salt Lake City, and it was the Ice Palace. He said, I remember that so well. I said, yeah. And I said, you came in with Gene, or the manager came in with Gene and you introduced yourself, and you said, could we use some of our pyrotechnics and our effects for the show? And we said, go for it. Me and Mickey just said, go for it, guys. Do it. Use it to the hill. When we saw the show, Jesus, I nearly did a bit of my knickers. The bang at the beginning was so loud, but it got your attention. And when they just did all that makeup and all that armor, I just said, that band are going to be the band of the world. A world band. They're mega. They're going to go mega. And they did.
What do you remember about opening for was Rush opening? Rush was opening for Uriah Heep, right? When they first started off. You were there, right?
Rush opened. Earth, Wind and Fire opened for us. CZ Top opened for us. Foreigner opened for us.
What do you remember about Neil Peart as his drumming, watching him as a drummer for the first time?
Fabulous. I've loved his drumming. I've always loved him as a drummer.
Have you ever met him?
He's technical.
Well, I mean, sorry, you did meet him. You did meet him, but I mean, like recently, I guess.
Sorry?
Have you ever met Neil Peart recently, or just back in the day?
I haven't. It's years since I've seen him and mentioned this, but I remember when we first saw them. I watched him, and he was such a brilliant, lovely drummer, so tasteful, you know. And that is the point, you know. Even that is the thing. That's what makes it work. All bands need backbones, and the backbones are bass and drums. When everybody thinks otherwise, it's up to them. But without a bass and drummer, you don't have a band.
What'd you think of Neil Peart as a drummer when you first saw him, when they opened up for Uriah Heep back in the day?
Brilliant. Unbelievable. It's brilliant. brilliant player. He was so fast and so solid. But again, he had double bass drums. I didn't have double. I never played a double bass drum. I made do with one and worked it. But again, digressing, I was absolutely over the moon by his drumming. He was. I've always heard about him because I've got some of the albums. But when I saw him play live on stage, he was kicking, and the sound. Whoa, yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing to hear. So, and just to touch base again, back on Diary of a Madman, from what you could remember, okay? What about
over the mountain?
On Diary of a Madman, You Can't Kill Rock and Roll. What do you remember from recording that song?
No, to be honest, as I said, my mind's gone because.
It's all right. Okay, we'll leave it at that.
I don't. All I've got in my head now is my new album.
Sure. Okay, so let's just do a little recap here, okay? And
okay.
And so the documentary is still in the works. It's almost completed, which is fascinating, phenomenal.
Yeah, well, and you hear them a wonderful thing to try and get the public to come and donate, even if it's $20, $50, $100. You know, we get a few hundred of them. We've got that money to be able to pay the film crew, because even just alone our insurance, apparently, and it is expensive. It's £1,100 a day. And your insurance for doing the filming, to film the cameras, and to other people. If you're filming people and someone falls over and breaks a leg, you've got to be covered with insurance. It's sanity, it is. But anyway, sorry, I digress there.
Yeah, okay. And of course, 11 Teen, still been working on, hopefully before the end of the year.
I've got things such as, what is it? Celia Sienna, which I read about a girl, obviously, and Home is Where the Heart Is, Mum, A Port and the Brandy, A Gin and the Shandy, Any Kind of Drink Will Do is a pub song with me on a old piano and Jake on the ukulele. And that's, again, it's another project, another thing. And I've just done how it felt to do, how it felt right. And I've just done the album that way, you know. And I've been allowed to, which is great. Because that was the one thing about Ozzy when we were in their studio, Ridge Farm. No one was there to say, oh, no, I don't like that, or don't do that. They left us alone, and we really rocked with some great songs.
And
even just me doing Over the Mountain.
Yeah. How about one thing we should have talked about is Uriah Heep. They got recently inducted into the Hall of Heavy Metal History, by the way.
I know. Yeah, I know.
I mean,
I knew about it.
And I mean, I don't want to jolt your memory too much. I know you're not feeling great, but Demons and Wizards, probably one of the all-time, at least my favorite Uriah Heep album, classic. You'll never get a better organic sounding prog rock album like that.
Yeah.
And your vocals.
Again, there was the way that they wrote songs led to that idea. To me, that's what they did it. Demons and Wizards. But to me, Magician's Birthday, was mind-boggling.
It's a great album, too. I
mean, it's just me doing that fight, me and Mickey with doing the fight with Ken. Everything about that album was top on. It was absolutely everybody playing the best of the best, the singer singing the best of the best, and that was what I call a proud album. That's why, again, it went in the top 10, and so did Sweet Freedom. I think the one album didn't make the top 10 was Demons and Wizards. I think it just broke us first.
And how much, and Demons and Wizards and Magician's Birthday, how much did you contribute to the vocal melodies of writing these songs? I think you did a lot, right?
Lots. I did a lot of the vocal melodies. And I mean, that was one of the part of my, because I just wasn't playing drums. I had to do the harmonies as well. So I came up with ideas. Even I came up with ideas for solos from Mickey. You know, on the other occasion, he would be stuck. And I'd sing one and go, you go, oh yeah, okay, that's cool, I got it. And he, that's the way we were. We all went in. We had a manager come. And he called himself the producer, and he was our manager. But he kind of said, if it wasn't for me, the band wouldn't have got there. And I'm afraid he was wrong. He couldn't have stopped the band from making it because the songs are too strong. And so, that squashed that. And I don't mean bitter pills. Mm-hmm. I hope people don't think I'm bitter on it. I just get angry when people say, it was me that did it. I'm responsible. I'm Uriah Heep. Without them, without me, they're nothing. I don't like that. We did what we did, the albums, and no one could have stopped them. Didn't need a producer.
Agreed.
It was just a damn good engineer.
Yeah. Okay. And actually, one more question in regards to Sharon Osbourne that I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot to ask you. Why, and I've asked you this before, but I just, for all the people who haven't heard this, why were the court cases, and there were 3 court cases against the Osbournes, why were they thrown out? And you've told me the answer.
Well, basically, they were thrown out through statute of limitations, which I can't go into. I don't really know. That's what they were thrown out for, the statute of limitations.
On a technicality, in other words, that it expired. Yeah. The time to sue for this claim has run out of time. That's what the statute of limitations said. I'm just guessing here.
But right? That's it. And the point of it was, she was scared, so scared, because it was millions. I mean, millions and millions it were owed.
And
absolute millions, 10, 12, 30, 14 million apiece. I think Bob was worth about 20 million, me about 14, 15. But it was still that amount.
And this is in sync fees. And this is in synchronization fees, right? That you didn't get paid for. You did get paid for royalties. So did Bob. But just to be clear, you just didn't get paid for sync fees.
Didn't get paid for syncs. Didn't get paid for being what they call mechanics. But we got paid for the songwriting. So we got some of it.
Okay.
But it was weird, isn't it?
And the sync fees, to clarify.
You are the band, and you can prove by the fact you've written the songs and they're still getting royalties from it, but they can't give you the fact that the statute of limitations. I could never understand that. Never in a million years do I understand statute of limitations. In other words, if you do commit a crime or you do something untoward, there's no statute of limitation there. You've got to get the whole thing sorted. To me, I don't think that's fair. When you say, okay, no, don't worry now, you just got away with stealing. It's wrong to me. Anyway, I digress. Sorry to apologize.
No, it's all good. I mean, and just to clarify what synchronization fees are for people who don't understand, there's different types of royalties. One of them meaning when you play a song in a movie or in a TV commercial, that's what the sync fees are. So if Over the Mountain is a song being played for a car commercial, you're not getting paid for that.
No, I'm not getting paid for that commercial. I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying giving as an example.
Oh,
if it
but the thing was, the beginning of Over the Mountain was played at the Miami football finals by the drumettes, the whole drum. They played the beginning part. They Over the Mountain. They played that.
All right,
but that's a sync. Yeah. But we never received it.
Exactly. So that's what sync fees are. Like anytime the music is being used in some sort of other than radio or let's say video, that's where you get paid in a nutshell. Just a quick summary. All right. Nobody wants to know. He wanted to ask you, what was it very hard work working with David Byron in his later years with the band of Uriah Heep?
With David Byron?
Byron. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it was hard because, again, we decided with the manager that once we started getting the fame, we were going on the road to conquer the world, basically, and America was it for us. We went to America, and we worked 11 months a year. Very good. Yes, please. We went through, a lot. And we went through, the thing was with America, once, I'll tell you the story one. Deep Purple were going to America on another American tour, and then Bruce Payne, their manager, suggested why don't we take Uriah Heep with us? And it was agreed, and we went on. And after about the fourth show, Roger came in, and Ian Gillen came in, and John Law came in and went, bloody hell, you're blowing us off stage. We've really got to pull out or stop some. Because they got lethargic, you see. Most of the bands they didn't have to worry about. Well, we were keen. We wanted to get noted in America. Of course, that's what we did. We went and played our asses off, and within, I think, 6 weeks, we were doing our own thing. I can't remember all of it, because a lot of it's just...
Here's another question. I mean, K-Man saying, you only recently, when they removed your drum parts and Bob Daisley's bass parts from the Ozzy, the first two Ozzy albums.
1995 or something.
I mean, care to comment on that?
Well, basically, I think the reason that Sharon did that because she thought she was going to lose the case. This is my understanding. And because she thought she was going to lose the case, she was going to not, settle out of court up to then, and then putting another drummer and another bass player in, she wouldn't have to pay any royalties. That's what it was.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And so I understand that trick. That's the way to play it, yeah. But it didn't. She didn't. In the end, I think about 2 million people who said, if you don't put them back on and then selling the real thing, we're going to put lawsuits against you. And you imagine having 500,000 lawsuits? I don't think so. They're just the amount of money it would cost her in lawyers. It'd be coming out of her ears. But she changed it in the end. She realized it was silly.
You also, so everybody knows that, just to be fair to Sharon, after a lot of back and forth, she did sign off on giving you the platinum albums, the RIAA certified platinum albums, which actually have sold another 1 million by the time you got yours. But
yeah, well, the fact is, Jimmy, I've no animosity to Sharon anymore. I've gone too close to death. I'm not far off of that. If I get another year, I'm bloody happy. It's too long in the tooth. I can't be bothered with all that animosity. I like her now. We've literally closed the gap, and I respect her, and I think that she's all right. She's cool. And as far as I'm concerned, that's it. End of story. I've only quoted and commented on things that are the truth, not detrimental to Sharon.
Exactly. So we're just commenting again. And I know Pat Gesualdo, the CEO of Hall of Heavy Metal History, he was very instrumental in getting you those plaques, and we've said that many, many times before. And I know you're very fond of Pat and everything he's done. So hats off to Pat. I want to say that he might have twisted her arm a little bit to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I love the guy, and he's such a sweetheart of a man, and he couldn't do enough for me, and that's what it's all about. That's what keeps me alive. Keeps me going.
Okay, here's a couple more comments here. Any chance of Lee playing live again from Jimmy Savage? What's going on?
Well, unfortunately, with my psoriatic arthritis and my cancers in my spine, I can play at the moment, but I can only do one show at a time. And I'd love to do 3 or 4 festivals in America. I would love to. I give my right arm for that. But this is what we got to work out. If I can do it, it's traveling. Because of my illness, I have to be near toilets. I have to be somewhere that somebody knows my situation and can be on top of it. And this is my right arm, Jake. And Jake Libretto, not only is he the guitarist in the band, he's a very close friend, my closest friend. He also looks after me. When I had the wheelchair, he's there right for me, making sure I'm okay. And, that's the sort of thing.
When I interviewed Mick Box, he told me that, you guys were kind of planning to, in the Czech Republic, I believe, there was a show there, a festival, I believe, or a show, I can't remember what it was. You were supposed to, if health allowed. You were supposed to come and drum there, but I guess, you know.
It wasn't the drum. What it was, I was going to play and sing, and
Ah,
Lady in Black on the end, because I couldn't get on. I can get on the drums. Yeah, I can play, but that was going to be agreed to do it that way because that's where people recognise me. But I got from the doctors. They said absolutely no way can you travel yet. We've got to wait and see, and because basically you've got two stents in there. You've got to be treated and looked after. Like there's no, tomorrow, and you're not ready to travel yet. So that's why I had to send them a letter saying my physician said no, you can't fly.
Yeah, for sure. Mick Box is a great guy. Great interview that I did with him, and he always had very nice things to say towards you. K-Man says, just wanted to...
Friends to Jimmy, I mean, we've been mates, and we haven't had a crossword except for once when I tried to sleep with him. When I was that drunk, we shared a room, and I forgot that he was a man. I thought my wife was there. That's the only time we had a bit of a rough saying when he kicked me off. But other than that, we've never had a bad word. I love him to bits. He's so talented, and he's such a good, honest guy.
Yes.
And they're breaking America again, and that's what I'm happy about.
Yes,
proud of them.
Same here, very proud. All right, so K-Man wants to say to you, just want to say keep on being strong, keep being you. Good luck with the documentary. Good luck with the new album. Excited to hear it and see what you can. A total hero. And I know that he's sharing your donation link as we speak on social media. Kenny is saying, what's your favorite song you've played on?
Me?
Yeah, you.
My songs.
The favorite song you've played on.
I think that there's many. But one of them I'll give you will be Magician's Birthday.
Beautiful. Yeah.
It was such a challenge that we did that. It's called the Wizard and the White Wizard and the Black Wizard. We did the fight. Me, Bob, and Ken. And it was not me, Bob. It's me, Mick, and Ken. Sorry, I'm starting to fake as the tablets.
No, it's okay. I'm going to let you go pretty soon. I know that you're tired now.
Me, Mickey, and Ken Hensley. And me and Mickey used to go, we went in the studio. I said, come on, mate, we're going to do a fight. We'll have a battle. I said, just roll the tape. And I got Peter Gallen to roll the tape. I said, leave it. Just go away. Don't even come near. I don't want any comments. And we went in there and we rocked it down. We did a mind-blowing solo, fight that lasted about 5, 6, 7 minutes. But it was a one-off. And we can never do. I said, you can forget double tracking or you can forget doing that again. That was a one-off miracle. And that's what it was. It stood the test of time. Because on stage, we could play it. Almost to the point. So this is the one sort of thing I think I like the magic of, is that just that fact of, people look at you and they go, oh, wow. And they idolize you into a point where they want to hold your hand, shake your hand, and bless them. They're trembling, and it's just lovely. I love it. And I like to make them feel.
Sorry to cut you off. Here's a cool question. Joey wants to know, what the heck does Abanog mean? Abominog.
It is a demon.
Oh.
Like they call them abominos and dominos and whatever. The gargoyles. They've got names, some of them. And it's abominog is a half devil, half ape. And as you see the front cover, that's what they call it, abominog.
Got it. And Jason wants to know, Don Airy is from his hometown, Sutherland. What a guy he is. What memories does he have of Don?
Don Airy, he's brilliant. I actually, I went, because we formed a band, super band, me and Bob, with Steve Morse from Deep Purple, and Don Airy on keyboards, Jimmy Barnes on vocals, and me on drums.
Crazy.
And we did shows in Australia. Anyway, down a riot, went down a storm, and that was when we had the greatest time, because Don is funny. When he wants to be, he's a bag of fun.
Cool.
And, that was a good time. I've done a lot of things in my life. That was another one.
All right, well, I mean, I know you're probably like aching tired here. I know the pills are kicking in. What a great chat. We'll chat again, sometime in the near future. I want to
Oh,
thank you.
love it, love it, love it. Love doing it with you, Jim.
Yeah, and thank you to everybody who participated and sent out their questions. Positive vibes. It's all good. And I think the final quote of the day is this from Klaus. Keep it up, Lee. You'll outlive your new doctor as well. Keep fighting.
Well said.
Well
said.
All right, everybody, go. Send some money over to Lee in regards to their documentary, his new album. I'll put the link up again for the GoFundMe page. And
yeah,
Lee,
they won't be disappointed because they're starting. The director, Taylor Goodman, she is a genius. She's fabulous. She really has her shit together, and she's done us proud. And the footage is going to be. They did one little short stint, I think it was on YouTube, of what the actual documentary was going to be like.
Yes, a little clip, yes.
And it's really moving. I cried.
Yeah.
I had tears to my eyes. And that's the issue. I don't want people to think I'm a sad old sod, and I want pity. I don't want pity. I can't live off of that. I just want people to know how tough it is and how much love and regard I have for all the musicians that I've known in my career and my era, how much of good they mean to me, and that is what has kept me going. And my love for music.
And in an age where you can't sell any albums anymore and everybody's sort of stealing stuff, it's bigger bands, like massive bands, have had GoFundMe pages for their albums. So there's no reason not to ask for money for a documentary or for finishing your album. This is the norm today. This is just a standard. This is the norm. There's no shame in it.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's good to know. It's like we do. I hate begging. I don't think it's a begging. In a way it is, but it's meant in the best possible taste.
Exactly.
So we want to do great, and I mean a great documentary. With it tied up with the album, I mean, it's got to be something. Even if it's called Not on the Heap, I can still don't call it the album 11. You never forget it.
I like the Lee Kerslake story. I'm kind of pushing for that. All right. All right.
Clever. All right. I'll pull that up for mention.
All right. I'm going to let you go. Have yourself a wonderful afternoon, okay? And we'll talk soon.
And you're a star, mate. And thank you. I enjoyed that, and I hope I got to everybody. And I love all of you. Thank you ever so much. Bless them.
Talk soon. Bye.